Superman Returns was not a bad movie. It was just a very misguided movie in a lot of ways. It just was not, at least personally for me, what I was expecting from a new Superman movie. With the trailers, I kept thinking, oh yes, he's finally back. Especially as a fan of Smallville and Superman the Animated Series growing up, I was like, yes, this is going to be so cool. With newer technology, CG, he's going to be able to fight more villains, do more stuff, just all around be so much more incredible. But the fact that the story puts so much emphasis on his relationship with Lois, or essentially the lack thereof, kind of bothered me to a certain degree. Because it's not like I hated that. I actually love the relationship between Clark and Lois. It's always been something really fun for me. But the whole thing of, oh, she remarried, oh, not remarried, she married this dude, had a kid, moved on with her life, Superman was gone for 5 years, like, what? No! That was just the thing that really kind of killed this for me. Because it from the jump just made me wary of everything. He's been gone for 5 years. Lois has a kid. Lois is with some other dude. Like, what? You're really just turning the knife in Clark from the jump. I'm not really okay with that. I feel some type of way about that. And then eventually you find out that the kid is Clark's son, which just makes the whole situation even weirder. Because you might as well rename this Super Stepdad to a certain degree. Or wait, no, not that. Like Super Baby Daddy or something like that. The fact that when the kid shows off his powers, he immediately kills a dude with a piano. I mean, and not to mention, it's just like, he's a kid. He wouldn't really understand what's going on. But like the first thing the kid does is kill someone. And you're just like, ugh. Let's hope that memory represses. And it sucks too, because I love Brendan Roth. Like, he's so much fun, especially like Scott Pilgrim and even Legends of Tomorrow, rest in peace, that show. But he's such a fun guy. He has the charisma. He can do the goofiness. He can do the seriousness. You know, the difference between Clark and Supes, it's just like, it was at least a little bit believable to me. But was this going to be the movie that changed anyone's opinion that, you know, Supes is as interesting as wet cardboard? No, I don't think so. Cause he just rolls over for so much shit. There was never really that sense of agency for his character. Like, they call this Superman Returns, but it's just like, he kind of feels like, oh, he returns to be a cuck. I hate saying it that way, but that's what it feels like to me. And then Kevin Spacey as Lex Luthor, he wasn't the worst as Lex Luthor. I mean, I feel like they made him a little too overly campy to a certain degree. I don't know, they just keep missing the mark with Lex Luthor with all these live action adaptations. I think the only person in the past like 20 years who got it right outside of Superman the Animated Series, oddly enough, Supergirl. Cause the Lex Luthor in that series was the great combination of genius, narcissist, crazy, obsessive, just everything I want from a Lex Luthor. Whereas here with Kevin Spacey, I mean, he had the maniacal genius down, but the fact that we open up with him swindling an old woman out of her money just felt, I don't know, weird. It felt weird. It felt like we just took one brief step back to the days of the original Superman movies, the Richard Donner stuff, which I feel like was probably the intention, but I mean, that was not going to get fans in the mid-2000s into this movie. I'm sorry. It was fun. I don't want to make it seem like I hate this movie. It was fun enough. I just kept thinking throughout the entire movie, this is not going to connect with people. Like, this is just not the movie to connect with people. And it didn't do terrible, but it didn't do that great either. I feel like with their foot in the door with this movie, maybe a sequel could have elevated it. Like, Superman Returns was okay, but I feel like it was the same situation towards my feelings with Batman Begins. It's like, okay, this is kind of a return to form to a certain degree. We're kind of getting our feet wet with what we need to know about the characters and the direction and all that. And I feel like the next movie would have really done something special. I mean, this movie was not a flop. It just was not like the smash success that told people, hey, Superman is the shit. It just wasn't. And like, someone who loves this movie, I'd be like, yeah, you're free to love it. That's perfectly fine. I feel like there's a good amount in this movie to really love and be attached to. But it's one of those things where if it was Superman Returns and it was something like with what DC Rebirth did, and I mean, hindsight's 2020 and all that, from the perspective of the future, it's all well and good. And even with what Superman and Lois is doing, I would have loved it if we found out that, Lois did have a child, but, not the remarried angle. And not the whole he's been away for 5 years thing. Like, he comes back after, I don't know, a couple of years or so and finds out she's pregnant, she had a child, he's a little kid, and Clark has to manage being a father now. And the movie is not just about Clark coming back and returning to form, it's also him needing to understand what it is to be a parent, a father, and the fact, especially the fact that his son starts developing powers and this and that, like the struggles of all of that, and his son being like, my dad is Superman and stuff. Like, what if he was like his son was a big Superman fan, and that discovery of that realization, maybe have it so that the son was apprehensive about this, dad all of a sudden in his life, but it was also a big fan of Superman, that dichotomy there. Like, there's so many interesting things you could have done, and I don't know, I guess I'll just always be a little bit off when it comes to the whole thing of Lois is in another relationship. Superman doesn't actually get to, he gets to have visitations with his son. Like, that feels weird because it's just like, no, Clark would be an amazing dad, and anyone who thinks otherwise is wrong. The past 10 years have shown us that Clark Kent is an amazing father and will always try to do right by his children. But hey, tell me your thoughts on Superman Returns. Do you feel like it was everything it needed to be and it was just underrated? Or do you think that it was something that had its problems and was never quite going to win people over? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for more DC memories, and I'll see you in the next video. Till then, bye-bye.